I guess I bought a Pulp magazine collection. Hey everyone, Richard here. As the intro said, I bought a Pulp collection. It wasn't something I had planned to do. I was actually just doing some yard sale hunting, and I came across a house that had a box of Pulps, and he wanted $5 each for them, which was more than I really wanted to pay. I talked to him a little bit, and he's basically said, "I'm throwing away at the end of the day. Take them or leave them," and I left. And I did my yard selling, picked up various things, but I came back about 3 hours later, and they were still sitting there. And I told him I'd give him $1 each and I'd take them off the lot instead of him having to throw them away, and he took it. So yeah, bought a collection. Wasn't really planning on it, but I figured I would show them. They seem to be a little bit hard to find. They're definitely older, so figured why not show them off. There's not a whole lot on the internet about this particular pulp, so yeah, let's just sort of get into it. All right, so Wide World magazine. This pulp started in 1898 and went all the way on to 1965, so it was a very successful pulp magazine. This one's from July 1912. This is the earliest one I have in this collection. I'm basically going to just show them in chronological order. This magazine was owned, created, whatever you want to call it, by George Nunez. I looked that up. It was pretty successful. It was essentially an adventure magazine. A bunch of adventure stories. And it purported that they were all true. That wasn't the case at all. A lot of them are fabrications or extensions of the truth. Here's a September 1912. I really like this one. A woman gold miner. And you notice these earlier 1910 ones look way more like a magazine than a pulp. As you get later in time, they definitely look more pulp-like with their full painted covers and what have you. It was considered a magazine for men. They advertised themselves as such. Essentially the armchair adventurer type magazine. Articles and stories within them. There are pictures in a lot of them and painted covers. Here's a Christmas-esque cover from January of 1913. March 1913, The Fatal Watch. Expelled from Mexico. There actually were some pretty famous authors in these, but as time went on, they essentially all became mail-in stories, and the editor would just basically modify them to fit the magazine, edit them as you will. April 1913, One Treasure Trove, My Last Hunt. I'm not sure about the artist of these early ones as it goes on. It's essentially a single artist who does all the artwork on these covers. I'll point it out when we get to one. Wide World, March 1914. As you can see, the artwork has now started to expand, starting to look more like your typical pulp. And these are actually in pretty decent shape considering their age. October 1915. We're into World War I era right here, and the World War I ones seem to be a little bit harder to get a hold of. So that's kind of cool. The Mystery of Crowhurst Almer. Another World War I era with November of 1915. It's kind of a cool cover. I do like this one a lot. April 1916, True Stories That Thrill. Again, how true they are. Up to debate. A lot of them are just straight fiction. And kind of obviously so. You can tell it was from a more naive time. And there we have the instance of magazine for men. Here's one from July 1916, The Floating Death. The last one from the 1910s I have September of 1916, in the grip of the hip sings. Into the 1920s, the covers start to take the look of what I would say your typical pulp looks like. Here's kind of the cool one, The Haunted Room. And this is when we start seeing covers by this artist right here, W.C. Nicholson. Now, I wasn't able to find a whole lot about him other than he was a British artist, and he did, from this point on, pretty much every painted cover I have on these. So, really like this one. True Stories of Adventure. The Ivory Raiders from February of 1925. One thing these are known for is sort of their depiction of races. It's very much a legacy look at British colonialism. Some of these would never fly nowadays, and actually some of them are kind of valuable because of how politically incorrect they are. I like this one a lot. The Cat, March 1925. Again, same artist, W.C. Nicholson. Eskimo Wireless, Mystery of the Arctic, April 1925. The Terrorists, November 1925. That's a fun cover. Casual's Escape, January 1926. It's a very angry looking man. An Australian Robinson Crusoe, February 1926. This one's a little more beat up. A Daring Prison Escape from March 1926. Again, these are all true stories of adventure. The Blind Seer, April 1926. Paying the Price, May 1926. Wolves in the background of that one. The Warden of the Marches, July 1926. This one's a little more beat up. But these are the type of covers that generally sell pretty well. Collectors like them for whatever reason. September 1926, Soloi, the Witch Doctor. This is his, you notice his signature is far more pronounced on this one. The Secret of the Swamp, October 1926. This one is actually one of my favorites from the whole stack. November 1926, The Phantom Killer. It's just a really nice piece of artwork. Very much of the era. December 1926, The Tale Teller of Algiers, I believe. And while these are like adventure stories and whatnot, there are just straight articles in them as well. They're a good mix of stuff. There's photographs and there are actual pictures that have been painted over, essentially. So it's an interesting flip through. March 1927 on this one, The Troublemaker. Yeah, it's just fun. The One-Legged Kia, April 1927. Pretty much just had to rescue these. They're too fun. May 1927, Trekking in the Unknown Abyssnia. I like the colors on that one. Here's another favorite of mine, July 1927, Starting Life Afresh in South Africa. Through Spain in Disguise, A Story of an Odd Wager, August 1927. Nice yellow cover. Queese the Killer, September 1927. The Secret of Still Valley, November 1927. With titles like that, can't blame people for picking them up and trying to see what they're about. Painting Wild Indians, December 1927. This is one of the more sought after ones, I believe. It does have actual pictures of Native Americans in this one. Kruger's Millions, January 1928. Life in a Land of Death, March 1928. The Mid-Amoni Man-Eaters, April 1928. I did look in this one a little bit. It's about a story of two killer lions. I know there is a story about two man-eating lions. I don't know when that took place, if this is based on that, but a fun lion cover nonetheless. Another favorite of mine, Two Girls of the Frontier from May 1928. Tulasa in Disguise, June 1928. Dead Man's Tracks, July 1928. Some of these really do pop color-wise for their age. Two Man and a Donkey, August 1928. And it is still the same artist. This artist must have had a good deal with the owner. Indian Gold, September 1928. This one might actually be my favorite of all of them. The Girl Stowaway, October 1928. A Terrible Journey, December 1928. I haven't really been able to figure out what this one is. I think it might be a ship or something, that being a porthole and water coming in. I don't know, but it's a very interesting looking cover. Byways of Old Pekin, May 1929. The White Brother of Chic, April 1929. This is a fun one. March 1929, Mystery of the Mary Klein. Only about 10 left now. I hope you guys enjoyed this. A lot of these pictures of these books just don't exist online from what I could see. So part of the reason I'm making this is just so people could see them. December 1930, a Christmas number, Fakir's Magic. The Reef of Mystery, January 1931. This one's definitely beat up. March 1931, The Poisoner. The Affair at Kanchampur, April 1931. You'll notice it is still the same artist. My Horse, May 1931. Probably the worst title of any of them so far. The Black Hand, July 1931. The Trap, August 1931. Three more. Living Dangerously, September 1931. Three Men from Cain, October 1931. And the last one, November 1931, What the Dog Knew. So yeah, hopefully you liked looking at these. I just had to rescue them. They were going to be thrown away otherwise. And hopefully you enjoyed seeing some books that people just don't really have anymore. I do not see a whole lot on this magazine in my searches. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this, and take care, everyone.